Hi there, everybody. Roger Connect with Universal Accounting Center. I'm excited to have with me today Rick Howard, basically co-owner of Seize the Day Accounting.
Hi, everybody.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to get started, and I'm just basically going to maybe do a quick introduction with a disclaimer to point out that Rick coincidentally happens to be a former employee of Universal Accounting Center and currently a coach for a number of our students as they're in the process of enrolling with Universal Accounting and in many instances marketing their own services, whether it be starting or building their accounting firm. So this is going to be kind of an interesting conversation to learn a little bit more about Rick himself, but more importantly about his journey with his own firm, Seize the Day Accounting. So I'm just going to jump into this, Rick, and just start by asking if you could share a little bit of your background and maybe some of your experience and education related to accounting and how it got to the point that you started your firm with Tom.
Yeah, well, so it all really goes back to when I started as an employee with Universal Accounting. Prior to that, my background was in retail management. I had never thought of the accounting industry as anything to potentially go into. But a friend who worked with Universal sort of helped me get steered in that direction, and I came on and became a marketing coach, and I've been doing that now for a dozen years or more. And that was my introduction to the accounting industry. When I first came on, I actually went through Universal's bookkeeping course.
Yep.
And then over time, coaching students, I had a gentleman that happened to be from North Carolina, which is where I was originally from, and he knew I was wanting to get back there, and so he made an offer for me to go back there and work directly for him for a little while. Meantime, I'm still doing coaching with Universal. But when I went out there to work at his CPA firm, I got to know a gentleman named Tom Ahern, and we got to be good friends while I was out there. And eventually we got together and decided we would start our own practice. And so we created Seize the Day Accounting and have been doing that ever since. So it all really stemmed from me coming on with Universal Accounting and being introduced into accounting and bookkeeping through them and through their programs.
Well, you brought back a lot of history and something that I remember. I remember working with you with the Universal Practice Builder program and Don coming here and offering you the opportunity to go back to the Carolinas and work for him there with the CPA firm. Those were good days, good times.
Sure, they were.
Yeah, they are. So now, obviously, you met Tom. You were basically in a position where you could, where you were marketing accounting services, and the opportunity presented itself to start that practice. What year was that?
So we started 2.5 years ago. So that would have been 2016, beginning of 2016.
Excellent. Well, as you started, one of the things that I'm sure you experienced is that same experience that everyone has as they're beginning the practice, finding their first clients, onboarding the first clients, maybe being a little eager to take anyone and everyone, I guess. What stories can you maybe share related to starting your practice?
Yeah, so I had the unique advantage of having been a marketing coach with Universal Accounting, and so it was just natural for me to implement the things I've been coaching other people to do for so many years. And so when we first started, I told Tom, I said, look, I'm going to take this on and I'm going to put you through the same process that I would put one of my students through. And so we started implementing those same strategies. But yeah, there is some of that when you're first getting started where you feel like you need to take anyone and everyone on. And we did that at the beginning. And you know, we still have a couple of those clients. A couple of them, a couple of the other ones have since fallen off for different reasons. But yeah, it's sort of a matter of trying to get that ball rolling, get some momentum built up. And like I said, I sort of had the advantage of all that experience doing this stuff with Universal Accounting, and I was able to just then implement it myself.
Perfect. So one of the things that I think is interesting in that whole process is you've definitely experienced what so many other people have done as they also were starting their practices. And whether it be as a supplemental business where they're doing it on the side, maybe weekends and evenings, or literally jumping into it both feet first as a primary income, you've had that. So what advice would you have for someone who is starting their practice?
Well, the nice thing about it is it can be whatever you want it to be. You can do it at whatever speed you want it to be. I mean, obviously people have bills to pay and have to take care of themselves and family and stuff, and might have a job to do that at the beginning, and that's fine. This is something you can start up slowly, or you can just jump in 100%, and if you're able to, and do it that way. But probably the best advice I could give somebody starting out is, don't feel like you have to try to do it on your own. I mean, whether it's working with a coach or marketing person or whoever it is, joining networking groups, you can find somebody who can help you. And so you get to, one of the themes I think that runs through Universal is that you get to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. One of the things that I talk a lot about is the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And one of the things I got out of that is, so many businesses end up failing. And I feel like a big part of that is because they run out of time and or money before they figure out what's going to work for them and their business, because they're having to do it on their own. They're having to try and figure it out on their own. So that's probably the best advice I can give is, don't try to do it on your own. Go get help, regardless of who it's from. Get some help from other people who have done this, have been there and done that, and get advice and help from them.
That great advice. I admit we're a little biased. I think one of the big things that comes from the proper coaching is someone that can ask the right questions and, more importantly, hold you accountable as you're implementing things that you say are important. So well said there. So this is going to be kind of an interesting question. I normally ask here how the training that that a person has received from Universal Accounting has helped them with their practice. So you've gone through our programs, but more importantly, coached our programs. So I'm kind of curious, what can you maybe reflect on as being one of those key things that helped you either get the clients you want or better service the clients you have, give you maybe the competence or confidence to go out there and do what you've accomplished?
So it's been a long time since I've been through the bookkeeping program, and admittedly, I wouldn't say that I remember all too much about it, but the good thing for me is I don't necessarily need it, because I've got a partner who's a CPA, and he sort of takes care of that side. I'm mostly doing the marketing side of things. However, my experience having gone through the training and having at least remembering and having a basic understanding of bookkeeping and understanding what and how we want to build our business and the services that we want to provide, help me communicate with potential business owners in a way that I can get my message across to how, it's not about just coming in and providing bookkeeping and accounting services. It's about trying to help them make a difference in their business and to utilize their accounting to make that difference, to help their business be more successful and more profitable. And so those are the things that I have been able to take when I'm meeting and speaking with business owners that I feel like give me an advantage to differentiate us from other accounting firms.
Makes sense. I like that. So one of the things that I'd like to maybe focus on then is, what are some of the things that you emphasize in your marketing that you feel is resonating with your potential clients, that's helping you actually connect with the business owners?
Well, I think it's a little bit about what I just said. I think so many business owners out there look at their accounting as this necessary evil. And really, to be honest, I think it's really the fault of the accounting industry, because so many accountants, whether they're CPAs or professional bookkeepers or whatever level in the industry they're at, most of them are just providing services. They're just doing data entry. They're just doing tax preparation. They're just providing these services. And so the message I try to get across is, look, we're not here to be like other accounting services. We want to be your profit and growth experts, meaning we want to help. Look, we'll take care of all of those services for you, but that's not where our value lies. Our value lies in being able to sit down with you on a frequent basis, help you understand all this information, because that's valuable information for a business owner to have. But most of the time it doesn't do them any good, because they don't understand that language of accounting, because they're not accountants. So it just goes to waste. So we're able to sit down with them on a regular basis and not only help them understand it, but then consult them and help them utilize that knowledge they've gained from it to make the wise decisions that will help the business. And so just helping them understand that their accounting can be more than just that necessary evil that's taken money out of the business, and can actually be something that can bring value and profit back into the business.
So many of the things that you're saying resonate with me. And I think a part of it is simply because of the fact that universal accounting is obviously ingrained in what you're doing. You spoke of becoming a profit and growth expert and being more involved with the business owner, helping them grow. And what we speak of is obviously climbing that wisdom pyramid. It's what's mentioned in the book, In the Black, and basically looking at the accounting information as being so critical to help them make more informed business decisions. So love the story. I mean, it resonates and it sounds very familiar. So here's the next question that I have for you. You have that unique relationship that you alluded to where you're doing the marketing and Tom, as the CPA, is taking care of the clients and doing all of the work, doing the fulfillment. Talk a little bit about that relationship. Some people out there, I'm sure, are curious where maybe their strength isn't the sales. It's not their passion, but rather doing the work perhaps is, or basically elaborate. What would you like to share about that situation?
Yeah, so like I said, my situation's a little unique in that I started out as a marketing coach with Universal. And again, I said I went through the bookkeeping course, but I was never good at math. It was never one of my favorite subjects, numbers, just, it was just not something that I had a whole lot of interest in terms of doing accounting. And that's what's nice is having a partner is we can focus on our strengths. All of my expertise and experience being on the marketing side, I can focus on that while I do a little data entry for a couple of our clients, but he does most of that. And so I can rely on him to utilize his expertise from the accounting side, and I can focus on my expertise. So it's a really nice marriage of our skills and experience and being able to focus on those things. And go back to, like I said before, is you don't necessarily have to do this on your own. Focus on what you want to do and what your passion is and what you're good at, and find other people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a partner within your business, but go out and find other people whose strengths are those areas where it may not be a strength for you, but you can utilize these other people to help sort of fill in those gaps.
That makes sense. I really like the fact that you have this relationship with Tom simply because I think it's more common than many may admit or realize. In the program Universal Practice Builder, we actually do a number of exercises related to firms having partners or various key players in the organization and recognizing their strengths and seeing who is it that may be best suited to do the marketing or the fulfillment or client relations. So you've definitely applied a number of those things. So here's an interesting...
Hold on just a second before you move on.
Yeah.
One of the examples I give, and not that Walmart needs any marketing from us, but I always say that marketing, I ask people, why is Walmart so popular? And usually the first thing they go to is price. Yeah, they're low price, but there's other stores that are low priced. In my eyes, the reason Walmart is so popular is because it's a one-stop shop. You can go get everything you need at one place rather than having to go to 5, 6, 7 different places all around town. And for me, from an accounting standpoint, I want to become the Walmart for small business owners, in the sense that I want to be able to provide, or I want to help them take care of as many of their needs as possible. Now, I don't want to provide the services necessarily to take care of all their needs. We provide the services that we provide, and we'll take care of those needs. But to help them take care of the rest, what you're referring to is going out and partnering with. We choose not to do payroll, but we've partnered with the payroll person. If you don't do taxes, you might want to partner with the tax person. But the point is that you can still become that one-stop shop for your clients, even though you're not necessarily providing all those services and doing all those things yourself. If you partner up with the right people, again, focus on your strengths and then partner with other people who can provide other strengths to help your clients.
Well said. Yeah, this goes back to the instructions that we cover in the Universal Practice Builder, where we're talking about leveraging your strengths and doing what you do well as a core. But in your marketing, trying not to be in that position where you say, no, I don't. no, I don't, can be detrimental in your marketing, because then they don't see you as the solution. But you can say, I have an associate who does that. And that phrase alone, those relationships where you have the payroll association, the tax association, and so forth, really does give you the ability to be seen as that one-stop shop. They see you as that hub in their business success. So well said. I like that. So here's the question I was going to ask a moment ago, and I'm really kind of curious what your thoughts are. Is how do you see the accounting profession changing, or how has it changed that you would like to speak to? What is it that you're noticing, how you're working with clients today, perhaps?
Probably the thing that stands out the most to me is how things are going. So, everything's becoming electronic and virtual. So for people who don't know this, and I wouldn't expect that many people watching this would, but I've already mentioned I was in North Carolina, and I just moved back to Utah a few months ago. I was in North Carolina for 10 years. As I mentioned, Tom and I started Seize the Day accounting out there. And when I started having the thoughts of moving back to Utah, one of my first concerns was, how is that going to affect Seize the Day accounting? But then I started thinking, we have started moving a lot of our clients to be virtual clients. People like the face-to-face, and we will certainly do usually the first maybe few months as a face-to-face monthly consultation. But we've realized that we were spending a lot of our time, and our clients were having to take time out of their business to meet with us every month. And we're in a place in 2018 where technology creates some really cool advantages to make things easier for us. And things like what we're doing here, where we can have a video conference with one of our clients. We can have the same interaction and same meeting this way as we would if we were sitting across the desk from one another. It just makes things much more easy and convenient, and things are just trending that way. A lot of the business owners we come across with are already using things like QuickBooks Online, and it just seems like things are trending more towards virtual. And so when I moved, so with this whole move, I started realizing one of the things about accounting and technology is that we're able to have clients from anywhere. They don't have to be right in our location. They can be across our state. They can be across the country. They could be across the world for that matter. The technology that's provided for us right now allows us to be able to do work for anyone, anywhere. And so me being here in Utah, that doesn't really affect much, other than that instead of being face-to-face right next to each other, we might have meetings more like this, and we still get to have that face-to-face contact. We still get to have ultimately the same interaction pretty much as we would face-to-face. But that would be the one thing, is it just seems like things are becoming more virtual, and the use of technology and all that in accounting is becoming more and more prevalent.
Well, I think you've said it very well, because years ago when I started working with the accounting professionals, there was a core part of our marketing strategy that was speaking to the local business owners, and your strength leveraging those that were within a very small circumference of your local office and leveraging the proximity. I think that still has a value, but it's by no means the key part of marketing today, because so many of the people that we work with as accounting firms now have clients that are not just out of the city, it's out of the state, and in some instances even out of the country. That is mind-blowing and boggling, but yet it's very, very true. So with all that being said, here's kind of an interesting question. Normally when I'm doing this and I'm speaking to a graduate and alumni of Universal Accounting, I'll ask what programs help them in their process of starting and growing their business, and what ones would they feel are maybe ones they would recommend for others wanting to maybe emulate what it is they've accomplished. Well, you're a coach of a variety of our programs, so yes, you're biased, but what programs that Universal offers do you feel has made a difference in the success of your business that you would like to maybe point out or mention and share why?
Well, for me, that question is easy, and it's the Universal Practice Builder. That's largely what I've coached on. And so, as I've already shared, that's as soon as Tom and I started Seize the Day, I said, look, we're going to go through this like I was taking one of my Universal Accounting students through this marketing process. And really, most of the things that we've done to get our business rolling have been from that program. You know, I think people a lot of times when they're starting this process of deciding to start a practice, they sort of look at it as a one step. I mean, it's more than a one step, but they if you group everything together, they think of it as one step, meaning I just need to make sure I can provide the services. I've got whatever certifications or I've got whatever training I need to be able to do bookkeeping and accounting for people. And what I think a lot of times they don't think as much about is there's a second step to that, which is I've also got to understand how to first begin my business and then how to successfully market my business to get and keep clients. And that's all from the Universal Practice Builder. And like I said, that's what we've done. And so that's the program that would really stand out in terms of what has benefited us with Seize the Day Accounting, for sure.
Well, one, I love hearing that. Two, what's coincidental is the fact that as much as a proponent as you are of the Universal Practice Builder and you've used its principles in your own firm, many people when they enroll with Universal Accounting and they enroll in the Universal Practice Builder will actually get you as their coach and have access to you for instructions and insights and applications of those principles so that they can use them in their firms and help them basically find and retain new clients. So this is phenomenal. This is an excellent opportunity. So just to kind of wrap, go ahead.
So I was just going to say that the great thing about it is, you know, some people might think of it as being random, meaning, you know, I've got to go out there and find what strategies are going to work to get me clients. And I'm just going to try random strategies to see what works. The great thing for me and my experience with Universal Accounting is that it doesn't have to be random. The Universal Accounting or the Universal Practice Builder is all about a system. And for me, I wasn't an expert in marketing prior to coming to Universal Accounting. Like I said, I was in retail management. I worked for big department stores. They did their own marketing. I didn't have to worry about that stuff. But I learned the system to be able to start coaching people on it. And then I talked to people about the system every single day for the past 12 years almost. And so I've just become an expert in the system by learning it and knowing it. And I think that's a key part of it, is not having to go about it randomly, trying to figure out what's going to work. But look, regardless of whether it's Universal Accounting and the Universal Practice Builder or whatever, but just having a systematic approach to it as opposed to just going about it randomly and just trying to figure out what strategies might work.
That's awesome. That is just great. So, Rick, any parting thoughts as to what it is someone may want to hear or should know when starting or building their practice? Just a quick thing. You may have already done it, but just want to give you a chance to maybe throw that in there.
Well, I'd like to say that it's an easy process, but you know, if it was easy, there'd probably be a lot more successful practices than there are today. It takes work and it takes dedication. I think you've got to continually remind yourself of why you're doing this, why you wanted to start your own practice. And like I said, make it easier on yourself. Don't feel like you have to go out there and just sort of figure it out on your own. Work with somebody. I don't want this to become a commercial for Universal Accounting or their programs, but find somebody who's been through the process before, who has expertise in the process, who can help you, and don't do it by yourself. Find other people and partner with them who can help you become successful.
You know, there's a lot to be said for following a system. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. That's a proverbial way of putting it, but I think it's so true. Yes, I think we're all intelligent enough that we can figure it out, but why go through all the heartache and the mistakes and maybe the costliness of trying to figure it out from scratch when you can actually just buy the recipe and follow it and avoid so many pitfalls. At the same time, when you go through a program, the coaching, I think, really accelerates it. Doing this in 6 months, 12 months, you can get it done in 2 months, 4 months. And that's huge, because I think everybody's eager to experience success, and you get burned out if you don't experience success. If it's just not working, you can only go so long. And so to more or less guarantee your success and ensure it, following some systems and learning from the wealth of the group of other people that have experienced it and figured out what is effective, that says a lot. So you were going to say something?
I was just going to say it's when you can find a good system that works, it's sort of like having a franchise without all the franchise fees. It's the thing about a franchise is that the franchise usually provides you with all that kind of stuff. They've already been there, done that, but you have to pay a lot of money to be a franchisee. So that's what it's about, is just finding a system that works for your particular type of business, and following that system, so you're not having to figure it out. But that analogy of a franchise, just the benefit of buying that, I think one of the benefits for people buying into a franchise is that the system is already in place and they don't have to go figure it out. And for most other small business owners, okay, I don't want to buy a franchise, I want to do it on my own, but now I've got to go out and figure out how it's going to work and what's going to be successful. Well, there's a middle ground there. You can find systems that are already in place that you don't have to go and buy a franchise in order to get it. And it's just a matter of like we've been talking about, partnering with the right people and finding the system that works for you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well said. I couldn't say any better. And on that note, I'm thinking we're just going to end. So here's what I'd like to do. I'm just going to throw out there. He brought up a number of things that I alluded to as being part of the book In the Black. So in the notes, I'm just going to put a link to what that is and give you a chance to get a free ebook copy of that book. Might as well have that. I think it's an excellent resource to you. Second thing is, he did speak of the Universal Practice Builder program. So I'll just put a mention of that below as well, so that you can easily find it. But Rick, thank you for taking the time to share with us kind of your experience and how it is you've gone about starting and building now your successful firm, Seize the Day Accounting. You're now running it from both Utah and North Carolina. You've got Tom, the CPA, doing all the work. You're doing the marketing. I think it's just a wonderful story and an example that I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to. So thank you. I appreciate your time, and especially all the work that you do for our students. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm very appreciative of my relationship and partnership with Universal Accounting, because I know for a fact I wouldn't be where I'm at. I mean, if you would have told me I would have had my own accounting firm 13 years ago, I would have thought you were nuts. And the only reason I'm at where I'm at today is because of the things that I've learned through Universal's training. So thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And I appreciate not only our working relationship, but friendship. So thank you very much. Take care. Everybody enjoy yourselves. And remember this, if it's about accounting, it's Universal. Take care.